Hello everybody and welcome to this video on the Isle/EVRIMA, where today we're going to be talking about the highs, the lows, the controversy, the development rate and everything the Isle has done throughout 2020. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start back at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, December the 21st. They released the Hope trailer and everyone goes bonkers because they see this nicely detailed Spinosaurus, the models, everything in the trailer is pretty good. So everyone's hyped and they're always going to come out pretty soon. So then that leads into 2020. So in 2020 then the first half of the year was basically all about them talking about EVRIMA, showing off all the new models, the concept art, animations for the Deinosuchus and all kinds of things which are going to be coming into EVRIMA really. So yeah, in the first half of the year, just literally all animations, new models, etc. And that's what they were showing off. And I'm bigging up EVRIMA, to be fair. A lot of people were waiting, they'd seen the Hope trailer. So June, the beginning of June, EVRIMA branch drops. It's on a different tab, so people have got to opt into it. And lots of people opted in, and it was met with a lot of disappointment, with lots of people saying it was very buggy, there was no grouping system, and coming from Legacy to that, where they only had two dinosaurs, they had the Utah in EVRIMA and the Tronantro. So to have only one Herbie and one Carnivore at the time with a list of bugs was a massive kick in the teeth for everyone, and I think they were expecting lots of other things. I think the developers at the time would they were communicating that, you know, it was a test and all this, but a lot of people were expecting things from the developers which the developers didn't deliver. So their launch was very rocky and didn't quite meet the expectation, whether that was the developers doing or whether that was the fans expecting something which wasn't delivered. So EVRIMA dropped the beginning of July, and then towards a month had passed, people are getting their hands on it, trying it out, etc. He's obviously generated more exposure and more publicity. So late July, beginning of August, something comes to light which kind of tarnishes the Isle's reputation. It was the Paradigm Shift fiasco, where Paradigm Shift had allegedly sent explicit images, texts, whatever, to a miner, which caused all kinds of controversy for the Isle, for the team, for the development. Lots of questions were then being asked. I'm not going to go into detail what happened, because that's covered at length in other videos. Sid Alford covered that at length, and there is lots of conflicting stories, so it sent a very bad message for the Isle at that point. Paradigm Shift then decides, for whatever reason, whether he was pushed, I don't know, whether he took the decision himself to leave the development team of the Isle. Dondi then decides to hire his own PR team because the case itself was handled very poorly, where developers were responding to members of the community and it was getting very, very messy. So Dondi hires his own PR team for the Isle, which was a good shout. And at this point, Dondi then decides to take a step back himself, which kind of leaves the Isle up in the air at this point. So all the fans were, you know, already thinking, what's going on with the team? What's happening with the development? Dondi's now taking a hiatus. So it kind of left him in Timbuktu at the beginning of August. So at this point, an entire 8 months has now passed. Paradigm Shift has left. Dondi's taken a step back, and it's late August at this point, and they've just released a roadmap. And again, that was met with some criticism and some feedback from the community. On this roadmap, it showed lots of points in their development, things they wanted to get into EVRIMA, such as, you know, nesting, night vision, dinosaurs, etc. But there didn't seem to be much structure of when this was happening, who's doing it, how long do they anticipate being in this development stage for, and there was very little to go on. It was just a putting our finger to the wind type of jobby, and a lot of people were happy that there was some type of path, but with very little direction and timestamp. So people were not very happy with that. So yeah, it wasn't great at that point. So we're now at the end of September, 4 months since EVRIMA had initially dropped. It received one update during that time, which was just to fix 1 or 2 issues, and 4 months had basically, near enough 4 months had passed, and they released another update, which featured a new playable dinosaur, the Dryo, again, which was met with a little bit of criticism, not too much, because people enjoyed that there was a new dinosaur. It was good to see that an update had finally dropped, because people were starting to lose patience and faith, especially with what had happened. So they dropped this dinosaur. They fixed a couple of bugs, which was great, and people would enjoy in EVRIMA. A lot of people had obviously stayed with Legacy because there still wasn't much content in EVRIMA at the end of September. Because again, there was only 3 dinosaurs in there: the Utah, the Toronto, and the Dryo. They're the only 3 in EVRIMA at this stage, and it's still had very limited features. So people were starting to think, how long is this going to take? What's happening in the development? It seemed to get back on track, but again, was it too little too late at this stage? We don't know. So that happened at the end of September. So a week or so goes by, and we're in the beginning of October, and all these strange doppelganger servers start showing up, which if you click them, then link you into a Chinese server, which they're injecting hypos, all different kinds of dinosaurs, flying pteranodons, humans. So effectively, these Chinese servers had hacked into the Legacy branch and were causing carnage. So a lot of people were trying to click into genuine servers and getting redirected into these Chinese ones, and it was causing all kinds of issues. And the development team at that stage had seemed quite absent. So these Chinese servers were rampant for a good couple of weeks, well, probably longer than that, for about 3 to 4 weeks. And by the end of October, the beginning of November, the Isle development team had released an update for Legacy to patch out these hacked servers and make sure that no one could access them. So in doing so, they got rid of the hypos, which, and they got rid of all these Chinese servers. But they'd also broke the Legacy branch of their game, which a lot of people were still on at this stage. So that was again met with uproar. There's various bugs now in Legacy because of it, graphical glitches, no ambient noises. So that was met quite abruptly with some disappointment. So they fixed the hacked servers, broke Legacy in doing so. It took them then till the end of November to address this and talk about it. They then release a better roadmap, so it shows more structure in the roadmap. Not so much timescales, but showing when and where things are getting done, who's doing what, and if it's completed and if it's going in there. So the community is starting to believe in what they do a little bit more with this more improved roadmap. And then December the 1st, I believe, a new update drops, the biggest update for EVRIMA yet, with the Stegosaurus, the Carnotaurus, and the Hypsy, with numerous fixes on EVRIMA branch, and it was met quite positively. All these new dinosaurs, it came with some bugs, which they ironed out pretty quickly, but that was met quite positively. 3 new dinosaurs, a day-night cycle, bleed mechanic is now in, lots of other animations and fixes, and it was met quite positively with the community. So they were starting to then get their credibility back, which was great for them. So this brings us up to the current day now, which is the 10th of December, and at this point, they've released various updates, as just discussed, and they're now teasing an update potentially before the end of December, featuring the birdie, the pteranodon, or whatever you call it, and the Deinosuchus. So fingers crossed that comes out before the end of the year, because that's something they are they're teasing. So for the Isle, in summary, it's been a bit of a up and down year for them. They've had definitely the the last month or so has been a much better ride for the Isle, where the rest of the year has been pretty much up and down. So make your own mind up in what's been good and what's been bad, but this video is there just to help you, really. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, click that like button. That'll help me massively. And if you want to see more videos and want to continue supporting me, click that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds, doesn't cost a penny, and will help me out massively. We do have a Discord as well, so if you want to join that, it's full of lots of friendly people talking and doing what they do best. So come along, join us, links in the description. Anyway, have a great week, great day, enjoy what you're doing. See you in the next one.